All right, mother truckers, Combat Lady Virus. Checking in with this thing today. I was a big combat guy back in the day and never got a chance to swing one of these. I swung a lot of them, swung dang near everything they made, but did not get a chance to try the old Lady Virus out. This was a fast pitch bat, only came in 33 inches was the longest length it came in. You know, some fast pitch bats do come in 34 inch. These did not. So that was kind of an oddball thing to get anyway. So I never really had the chance to pick up one up, and for the right price, where it made sense for me to want to grab one because it was 33 inch, and they eventually ended up getting banned. This is one of the first bats that I remember kind of seeing and calling out a couple of different times. Guys were trying to swing these things because there was a niche group of guys around softball fans, and I'm sure they were everywhere, that were swinging fast pitch bats at the time, because fast pitch bats were really good for slow pitch. I don't know if that's still a thing now, but I know back then it used to be because it was the same ASA standard. You can see it's got, like, if you're familiar with the stamps, it's still got the old ASA stamp like you would need to be able to play slow pitch league with this thing. But these things came out, word got out that they were really good, and they ended up getting banned. They got shut down. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe there was pictures circulating around of these going out with the stamps ground off of them. Basically, to my understanding, if I remember correctly, Combat cleared them out for really cheap because they had a bunch of them made. They ended up getting banned, and they ground the stamps off of them so that you could still have them, but you couldn't use them in games. Huge thanks to David Gonzalez for sending this to us so we could swing one of these. I mentioned something on the podcast about swinging a Lady Virus. I swung a few other fast pitch models. Had some fun with those, but nothing like this thing. Everybody always said that this thing was like senior bat good, and I wanted to see what the hype was about. So big thanks to him for sending this out so we could check it out with the boys here. My guy Brian went absolutely nuts with this thing, so be sure and check out his swings in the video, as they're all mixed in here. As you can see, I got my stuff pulled up here in the background. Didn't know what else to do, so just threw this together real quick for an intro since I didn't film one at the field that day. No further ado, Rambletron intro aside, let's get this thing started. So back on the old softball field here you guys been used to seeing out here at Atkins Park in Columbia, Missouri, 300 feet all the way around with a couple of new faces. Going to have Justin and William joining us for this review today, and looking forward to having them on the channel for hopefully a little bit more senior content. Senior action is coming soon with a couple of these guys here. These guys are senior players, even though they are jacked and in shape and out hitting us. They are senior guys. We were out here hitting the senior bat, and I thought, hey, you know what? Let's get this whole thing out and give it some run. And boy, that we did. About an 80-degree day. Actually, a slight breeze at our backs for once. Always kind of nice. Hitting nothing but hard stuff for this video. That's all they had back then. They didn't hit 52s for slow pitch at the time or fast pitch either, so we didn't hit them for this video. We hit the hard stuff because we wanted to see what this thing could do. Not sure on the swing count on this thing, but here's the thing on the compression tester. And back in the day when the old ASA standard was the thing, it had to be basically in the white for it to pass, and as you can see, this thing is nowhere near that. This thing was a bazooka. This is a 33-inch bat, and it is 27 ounces. I couldn't find anything for specs on this thing. It did feel balanced, and kind of the funny thing about it was it took a little bit to get used to because it was 33 inches. That kind of takes away from the weight at the end of the bat anyway. Combine that with it being balanced on top of that, it was, I mean, it felt like it was 30 inches long in your hands. That's what she said. So it was just kind of an interesting feel, but you had to get kind of dialed in. But boy, once you did, it was game over. As you can see by Brian's swings here, he went absolutely nuts with this thing. It took some adjusting, a little bit of getting used to. He found a groove and just went absolutely wild because this barrel was insane. The hype is real with these things, no doubt about it. David even asked me after I told him, yo, this thing is nuts. Does it compare to the U-Trip Tantrum that just came out? And I'm not gonna lie, had this thing had another inch of handle or barrel, whatever you want to put on it to make it 34 inches, it could stand a legitimate chance at being as good. Because back in the day, ASA used to be the less performing standard. I feel like ASA and U-Trip with their respective balls are kind of a close comparison, but back in the day, the ASA standard was a bit more dulled down than the U-Trip stuff was, but this thing was, like I said, supposed to be dulled down, and it was senior bat good. These things were wild, and I'm really glad to have a chance to finally be able to swing one of these. Big thanks to David again for sending this out so we could get some action with this thing, because it was a lot of fun. It's kind of like one of those bucket list bats that I'm glad I had a chance to swing. And it also kind of made me really want to scratch my itch for getting some more combat stuff going on the channel. I don't know how many combat guys I've got following the channel here, but the Throwback Thursday stuff is fun to do, and it might just be like a trip down memory lane for a while, do some combats. For me, maybe not for you guys. Maybe you don't like combats, but I sure did. So maybe I'm going to find some more combats to do. If you play in an Outlaw League and you've got one of these laying around, it's definitely worth getting out. That's about the only place you can use one of these days is an Outlaw League or something like that, or somewhere that doesn't check bats or have anything like that, because this thing was wild. I will say that 33 inch is something that you would have to kind of swing a lot and kind of stay locked in with it. I don't think you could bounce around bats a lot. It was kind of funny. I'm not putting them in there because I don't want to get laughed at. I ain't going to lie. But it's kind of funny trying to reach out and get a pitch that you could normally get and just absolutely cue-shotting them because there's not another inch of bat there to hit with. But I'm going to hush up and let you check out the handful of swings we got left for the video here. Huge thanks again to David for sending this out so we could finally get some experience with one of these things. Shout out to the boys. Welcome to the channel. Looking forward to seeing more senior stuff coming from them soon. So thanks to everyone for coming. Thanks to Greg for throwing them biscuits. Huge shout out to William for the sick drone work. Swing hard in case you hit it. BP Hero, catch you next time.